So, David, how are you today?
Doing well. It's raining in Germany, so weather could be better, but like my mood is still all right, yeah. How about yourself? How's it in Morocco right now?
Yes, it's good.
Good. Summer is here. No
Yeah,
rain.
no rain. Summertime officially.
Summertime officially. Yeah, that's what they tell us in Germany as well, but like
Perfect.
somehow it turns out differently all the time. It's raining and raining and raining.
Exactly. So I think we have some few attendee. So
Mhm.
I think we might go ahead and start. So I will introduce you first. So David Wilhelm, a researcher on luxury brand marketing and XR. He's coming from Munich, and he's sharing his finding on his luxury branding research and extended reality. So thank you, David, for being present with us at Mindful Podcast. Thank you very much. And I will open the floor to you. Thank you.
Yeah, first of all, thank you for inviting me for this webinar. It's a pleasure to talk about my research and all the theoretical and practical insights I have. Yeah, I guess you said a lot. So my name is David Wilhelm. Basically, I'm a luxury brand researcher. I work at the university in Munich, Germany, at the Department of Marketing. And yeah, today I'm going to talk about luxury brands and how they adopt XR technologies. So yeah, let's dive into. For myself, as you can see here on the top here, luxury is not just a simple product. Luxury for myself is more attached to emotions, to feelings, to dreams, and especially to live in the moment.
Sorry, David, we can't see you. Can you turn on your camera? We can see you.
You can't see me.
Yes, can you open your camera? Yes.
The camera is on actually. Can you see me now?
Okay. Yes, perfect.
But like
Perfect.
otherwise, I can share it. Can you see me like that here?
Yes. No, just continue the full screen. It's okay.
Okay. All right. You can see me now.
Yes, it's perfect now. Yes.
Amazing. All right. So, webinar. Who's this webinar for, basically? Yeah, in general, this webinar is for everyone being interested in luxury brands who have always been interested in luxury brands as myself. That's how I got into that job. I was always interested in luxury brands for years, so I have a strong personal interest. And yeah, also for people for sure who are XR developers, who are attached to developing digital things. And for sure, yeah, just for some people who are interested in that topic. So you don't need to work in that field basically to listen to it, because yeah, everyone I'm talking to about that topic says, wow, it's super interesting. So I hope you're gonna like it as well. So I was telling you, I'm going to talk about luxury brands and how they adopt new technologies, XR technologies like AR and VR. But yeah, let's go back a step. So what is a luxury brand in general? I told you what a luxury brand is for myself. It's not just a product, it's more like, yeah, being in the moment. And yeah, that's why I brought up a definition from the marketing literature. So when I'm asking people what is luxury for you, they always reply, luxury is attached to an extraordinary high price. Luxury is attached to high quality. Luxury has basically more to offer, as you can see on that definition here. It's a symbolic thing. It has a symbolic value. It has an experiential value. So you can use it for your self-concept. You can use it to signalize prestige, non-functional things. And yeah, a lot of emotions are attached to it, as you can see on that definition by Ko et al. When you enter a website, for example, you want to go to the Rolex website and you're looking for that green Rolex Submariner watch, you're used to presentations like that one, like 3D presentations. You can basically regard the watch in different angles. But the question is, why does XR matter right now? So you're used to that 2D, 3D presentations, but the next step is simply like seeing those products in your own room. And the thing is, like, since COVID, everyone is expecting more, everyone is expecting digital things. And yeah, digital transformation is no longer optional, as you can see here on that slide. It's basically a must for everyone. And that's why more and more luxury brands are slowly adopting those XR technologies as well. As you can see here on the right side. So you see here how they play that Louis Vuitton bag in the environment.
It feels real.
Okay, so we talked about luxury brands on the one hand side, but what is XR in general? So XR in general is a umbrella term for AR and VR. So it includes AR, augmented reality, and VR, virtual reality. People always ask me, what's the difference between AR and VR? Basically, it's pretty simple. So AR includes digital content to the real world, as you can see here on that slide.
Yes.
Saw here. So you can see here the real world, and you can see also digital content. However, VR creates a fully new world, a fully new 3D. So I put you some definitions here from a professor of mine. Augmented reality is in general like a hybrid experience, as I just mentioned. So you can see digital content into the real world through computing devices like an iPad, like a smartphone, for example. And virtual reality, on the other side, is artificial. You're fully sealed off, at least visually, and you kind of dive into a new world. It, like in the literature, we have different continuums that range from telepresence regarding VR and local presence regarding AR. That means like AR, for example, I can show you here. On the left-hand side, local presence means like you have that head-up display and you know it's artificially implemented into the real world. You can literally see that it's not real, but like it's also part of the world. But on the other side, when you have high local presence, like on the right-hand side, like it looks fully real. Like for sure that tiger doesn't look fully real, but like it basically gets to a certain point where you can like literally feel their reality. So augmented reality, as you can see here, ranges on different continuums. The next question for you is, have you ever tried on a luxury brand using AR or VR yourself, and how did it feel? I know it's not an interactive thing right now, so you can't basically answer that question. That's why I got you that video here where you can see that Rolex watch I showed you 2 slides before as 3D. Now you can see it on my wrist. Isn't it amazing?
It looks
all those reflections as well. Sineb, I want to ask you, how did it feel for you?
Yes, I said it looks real. I like it. I mean, it's a way to try on things without having to drive or go for a long
Mm-hmm.
distance.
Mm-hmm.
So I found it really interesting if you can get a very realistic uh,
Mm-hmm.
view of the product.
You see those questions here. Was the experience fun for you? I know it was just a video. You couldn't try it on yourself, but like how did it look for you? Did it look fun?
Yes.
What else? On the other side, did it feel exclusive or less exclusive for you?
For me, it makes it accessible because I was able to try a Rolex watch without having to go to the shop. So
Mm-hmm.
for me, it's something I can get easily.
Got it. And ultimately, would this experience make you more or less likely to buy the product? Or don't you have any opinion?
Yes, if a customer who was planning to buy and needed to have a grasp view on the new product, yes, it will make me buy. But if I'm someone who doesn't care particularly about the brand, but who's
Mm-hmm.
to buy a new watch, I think no, it doesn't make it look like rare or exclusive.
Got it. We're gonna dive into that later again.
Okay.
So we were talking about those main topics right now. Luxury on the one hand side and XR on the other side. But like if you compare those two things, actually those two main topics should be the opposite. Like luxury is scarce. Luxury is not for everyone. When you go to a luxury store, for example, you can feel all those products. You can feel the leather. You can feel the smell. Luxury brands are like fully curated. That means like they're selected. The items are selected on the display as well. And for sure, when you go to a luxury store as well, you always experience, or like most times experience, a very personalized service. Like you have a customer agent who cares for you. You get, I don't know, some beverages, some snacks. The thing is, XR on the other hand is more like for mass. Everyone can do it. And that's why the following question raises, can XR actually support, help the luxury experience, or does it actually damage luxury brands? So that's the question we were asking ourselves. So that was the beginning into that topic right now. I told you I'm working at a university. We're doing research on different topics, basically luxury topics. And we found out first that there is still limited knowledge about AR in the luxury context because most research currently focuses on gaming, on education, but not on luxury brand marketing. And regarding branding itself, we found that like that research about AR mainly focuses on conventional, like regular brands, but not on luxury brands. And that's why we pursued that topic as well. Here you can see another brand. That brand is called IWC. It's a Swiss watch brand. Sina, do you know that brand?
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of unknown for a lot of people compared to Rolex. That's why here you can see one experiment we were conducting at the university. On the left side, you can see the AR try-on,
Mm-hmm.
and on the right side, we were presenting the same watch in a 2D or 3D display.
So
And
this
that,
is something you developed in your
no,
research lab.
basically, I didn't develop that app. Like that app is existing already. It's a native app from IWC.
Okay.
So you go to the mobile website, and then you can basically try on different watches. So we only made use of that app because when we conduct experiments, it's not that easy all the time to find a suitable app. So that's why we have to rely on existing applications. But I wanna mention we're not linked to those kinds of brands. We don't get any benefits. We don't get any monetary funds from those brands. We only use it to test certain effects. That's basically the background. Yeah, as we're in marketing and in academic literature, we always need to have a strong background when we conduct studies. In terms of luxury brand and XR, we focus on different core theories. You can call it like that. For example, XR can reduce psychological distance. It can create emotional closeness, as you can see it on your wrist. First of all, it might get closer to you physically, and if something gets closer physically, it also gets closer emotionally. About the exclusivity you were just mentioning, like there are certain theories that for sure it's kind of intuitive, but like the rarer a product feels, the more luxurious it becomes. So I guess most people would assume that. And lastly, luxury brands are often linked with hedonic value. Hedonic value means that luxury brands are fun. They basically make fun. They're not for utilitarian values. It's more for pleasure, joy. So those are the core theories that we put in the middle. That's another great question. Exclusivity is fragile, or like with a question mark, is it fragile? If everyone can try, does it still feel special? That's the question here. Yeah, I was just mentioning the psychological closeness. If you can see something on your display, it might, I'm just telling you it might, because there was not enough research so far regarding luxury brands. But I'm just reporting some insights and findings later on. I want to give you a case right now. So we have Mariah here. She's 28 years old. She has an income of around 3,000 euros per month and basically owns no luxury brands so far. And she was able to try on a Cartier bracelet in AR. So she could literally see it on her own wrist. The same what I just showed you with a watch, she could do that with a wrist, like with a bracelet. And she might tell that. I've never been to a Cartier store, but seeing the bracelet on my wrist made me feel like I belonged. Belonged there, belonged to the brand, whatever, belonged to the bubble. There might be another person, Sydney. Sydney might be 41 years old. She has a pretty good job. She gets 12,000 euros per month. She has multiple luxury watches so far. And she was trying on the same bracelet from Cartier. And then she replies, it looked nice, but it felt like anyone could do it. That ruined the magic for me.
Okay.
Sina, do you see the difference between those two people?
Yeah. Actually, for the second one, it didn't help with the brand feeling, like the whole brand experience, like the magical one of the luxury experience. So we can see how it was a deceptive experience for her.
The thing is also, here you can see the prestige seeker. It's also about the motives. Like
okay.
Like Sydney, she might use it as she's used to luxury brands. She wants to differentiate herself from other people. She wants to see prestige, status. Whereas Mariah, for example, she doesn't have any attachment to luxury brands so far. And trying it on, it more highlighted the joy aspect I was just mentioning. Because
Okay.
she doesn't care about prestige. She doesn't care about differentiating from other people and to signalize anything.
Very interesting, because in that case, David, I mean, it works more on people outside of the niche of the brand, which
It
makes
works,
yeah.
it works regarding different aspects. So it's more like you were just you're trying to mention like the positive and negative aspects, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Let me go into that right again. So Mariah here, high brand liking. She might have an increased purchase intention, and she kind of felt connected, closer, emotionally closer to the brand. And Sydney, oh yeah, the exclusivity was lowered here. It didn't have any impact on the purchase intention, and it kind of made her feel more emotionally distanced because everyone could do that. So let me tell you a few things about the theory again. I was just mentioning the physical closeness and the psychological closeness. So we have some findings about regular brands so far, that AR compared to non-AR basically means 2D displays, 3D displays, like a regular website where you can see a bracelet, a watch in 2D. That's a non-AR experience, for example. And we have findings that AR makes consumers feel physically and psychologically closer to brands, to regular brands so far. Yeah, and you can literally imagine, like, if something, it's not just a person, also a brand, if something gets psychologically closer to you, that has a lot of positive benefits. Like, as you can see here, it breaks down barriers, defensive attitudes. It leads to higher purchase intention. So if something gets like first of all physically closer and then psychologically closer to you, it has a lot of positive impacts for people. And you can also read that in different studies, as you can see here. So we have two aspects here. The first one was the closeness, the other one was the exclusivity. And we were asking ourselves if AR can get consumers closer who are traditionally psychologically distant from luxury brands. That means, for example, people like Mariah, which I just showed you, because she has probably low materialistic traits. That was our research question.
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, we tested again if that closeness aspect can be elevated in terms of luxury brands as well. I just told you we have a lot of research, insights, and findings regarding regular brands, but not in the context of luxury brands. So we tested if AR can get people in general closer to the luxury brand compared to non-AR. And we found that in terms of the physical closeness and in terms of psychological closeness, as you can see here. So we like that hypothesis was supported. I was just mentioning Mariah, Sydney, that case here. She was the prestige seeker. She might use luxury products as an identity symbol. So we also used theory regarding social identity and exclusivity here as well. And Sydney, for example, she might feel a distinctiveness threat if everyone can try on a love bracelet from Cartier, because AR might make luxury brands more accessibly. Yeah, I can show you some findings we got regarding our luxury brands. First of all, here you can see, if you look on the right side here, that for people with high, 7 is the highest here, high need of status, they might feel that non-AR, like the 2D display on the website or the 3D display on the website, might be perceived as more exclusive than the AR version. You can see that here on the right-hand side for people with high need for status traits. Does that make sense for you?
Yeah.
So it kind of confirmed.
The more you have a high need for status, exclusive, which means high need for status, high need to be unique, which makes you perceive less exclusivity of the luxury brand because of the XR.
Exactly, because everyone can try it. And I don't want to be like everyone. Everyone can feel that brand, for example, that bracelet on their wrist. And I don't want to be like everyone. Or like, I don't want that product to become a product for everyone. That's the point. About the closeness aspect I was just mentioning, if you look on the left side here, we're just regarding the left side here, and we were just regarding the right side here, because that's the most interesting part. You can see here that for people with low materialism, like that's the one here. 7 means high materialism, 1 means the lowest materialism traits, characteristics. For people with low materialism characteristics, AR, that's the gray line here, leads to more or elevated psychological closeness compared to non-AR. Because like you can see products like the bracelet, you can see it in your own environment, you can play around with it, it gets closer to you compared to if you only see it on a 2D display and you can't even properly imagine that product in your surroundings or on your wrist. And we supported, or like, yeah, that hypothesis was supported as well here. So basically that was an insight into our research findings. But let's just look how brands are implementing AR in general right now. I was mentioning a lot Cartier, so, and that's state of the art, that's current right now. So I told you, luxury brands are slowly adopting AR technologies right now. It's still not everyone does. It has improved over the last 2 to 3 years right now. And they're mainly doing it in fashion and accessories because you can easily view it through your phone. And like maybe if you want to try on a dress, for example, it gets a bit more tricky and more difficult, but also that is possible. Imagine through AR mirrors in a store. So that's still possible. Here, Cartier, for example, they have a native AR implementation on their app. So you can try on rings, you can try on bracelets, you can try on that Santos watch on their website. But they also have a Snapchat filter. You can see here that watch. You can see that Justin Clue bracelet here. And yeah, it's like it's certainly increasing, but also for sure the accessibility is increasing. And that leads or might lead to a drop in exclusivity for people who are pretty much into luxury.
Which makes sense because luxury, it's more about exclusivity. And if it's very accessible, it will hinder this side. I mean, very interesting. Thank you.
Cartier does it a lot, meanwhile. Rolex, for example, I showed you the Rolex try-on. That was not a native app. That was a third-party app. Rolex doesn't have any possibility to view their watches on their wrist, because it might be due to that exclusivity threat. I don't know. We don't know. I was not talking to brand representatives yet, but like it would, yeah, it would be cool. Yeah, here you can see that watch again. You can, it's pretty good in my opinion. It has a lot of details as well. So if you don't want to make it to a Cartier store and want to try it, just go to the website real quick and you can easily put it on your wrist. I was mentioning a lot AR because like AR is more given than VR. VR is not as implemented as AR is. But a couple of years ago, Dior has put up a fashion show in VR. That was pretty impressive because it was literally a 360 like virtual fashion show. And the cool thing about is regarding the exclusivity that it was a controlled access. So it was only available for a specific amount of people by invite only links. And yeah, you could literally be in the front row, be seated there and watch the fashion show and the runway. The downside, however, was it had a lot of production costs. So it's a huge thing to put something or like to bring something up like that. Can you see how impressive it looks?
Absolutely. So this is metaverse.
Yeah. Super cool. Which other brands do have AR in their portfolio? There's Burberry, for example. Yeah, you can see me here on the right side. Now that's a pretty recent application on the website. It was possible to try, or it is still possible to try on different scarves on the website, and you had a huge selection regarding different colors, regarding different models. So that was also pretty impressive. But the downside here was like, yeah, you're literally watching a scarf, but there was no emotional storytelling here in that kind of implementation. Can you see here? Like the range was impressive. You could literally choose between so many colorways. Yeah, let's wrap up the practical implication, or like the practical application of the practical implication so far. So what do luxury brands do well right now? So first of all, they use sensorial enhancements, like the sound you were just hearing. They use emotions. The controlled access with Dior was also pretty good regarding the exclusivity point. And they use it not just for novelty, they use it to highlight their identity. They use it to highlight their tradition. What doesn't work so far is that application here with the Cartier watch was good though, but it might be a bit a bit cheap though, a bit of a gimmick. So it shouldn't be like, or it shouldn't look cheap to not dilute the exclusivity point as well. The poor design, like for luxury brands, if you don't have an outstanding, impressive design, don't bring it up because it might dilute, it might damage your luxury brand as well. And also, like I was just mentioning Dior, they limited the access. That's pretty cool. that not everyone could use it. On the other side, like Cartier, everyone can do it. So maybe those kinds of luxury brands, they need to segment a bit more right now, their audience. I can give you an example of a cheap look here. It's not from Rolex itself, it's a third-party app. But can you see here the silverish textures? It looks cheap though, don't you think?
Yeah, it's not realistic.
It's not realistic. It doesn't, let me just go back. It doesn't highlight the quality of the Rolex product itself. So as a key takeaway for each and every one of you, XR is still, we don't know what's coming up in the future right now, but right now it's a tool, not the message. And you should put focus on your identity, on your tradition, what's the core of your brand. And then XR can get your luxury brand successful. Yeah, one last question, maybe we can discuss it, Sineb. If you were a luxury brand marketing manager, how would you design an XR experience that feels truly exclusive, emotional, and unforgettable? What would you do? What's your takeaway of that presentation right now?
I might first start with my customer database, which means I will not give the access to the XR experience only to my customer. So it might be a way such as like brand NFT, if you remember. I should give exclusive access to exclusive people. So it's not something that will open to the public, but rather to my own customers. And of course, make sure that the 3D is very realistic, even in detail-wise. And why not maybe dedicate the XR experience only to new product launch and give them pre-access and pre-exclusive access to my watches. So those my idea. I hope Rolex will hire me for consulting.
Yeah, the thing is, we were recently conducting some new studies, and we were also testing the augmentation quality. So we were testing how bad quality affects the perception of exclusiveness. And yeah, it's certainly a point. So we have it on the paper right now that a bad texture quality, bad details compared to better details affects the perception of exclusivity negatively. It's a pretty simple thing that everyone can think of, but like we kind of found it out in a recent study. So yeah, I guess there is plenty of research to do on that topic so far. And it's also impressive how luxury brands slowly get into that topic.
Yeah, amazing.
So thank you so much for your attention on that topic right now. If you have further questions about it, if you want to collaborate, whatever, if you need more input, just hit me up via email and yeah, we can talk about that.
Thank you very much, David, for this new insight on XR. And this is something new for us in Morocco. So few brands, they use XR or none use XR in their branding. So I will open the floor also for the attendee if they have any question. Do you have, thank you, first of all, for being present with us. And if you have any question, feel free to open your microphone and ask the question, or just write it down in the message section. Yes, let's see, any question? Okay, no more question. So I think we are having here good students.
Yeah, I mean, like there might be some occasions in the future that we can talk about that topic. Yeah, but like as I said, I'm on it. I keep researching it, and yeah, I'll let you know when I have new findings. As I told you, we recently conducted a few studies which got us way more insights right now. But like we're currently about to analyze the data. But I'm confident that we can publish something soon. Yeah.
So I have a question actually, because when I think about your result, I'm thinking, is the result related to the watch market? If it's another luxury brand, like clothing or something, does it gonna give the same results for handbag, for shirts, for?
For sure not, because like the exclusivity itself, that attribute is merely like or like mainly attached to luxury brands. It doesn't have any relevance regarding conventional regular brands. So that exclusivity part is certainly only attached to luxury brands. The closeness part on the other side, I was mentioning, like getting brands psychologically closer, that's certainly relevant for both types of brands, because each type of brand might be interested that a brand gets psychologically closer to their customers or potential customers.
So I'm more curious to know about luxurious brand, but not in the jewelry sector, which means luxury brand, but not jewelry, like clothing or something else.
Mm-hmm. So what
It has a dimension of exclusive in it, the clothing market of luxurious brand. Let's imagine Dior jacket, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think if we implement the same experience on Dior jacket, are we going to have the same results?
It's a pretty good question. It's always a question. Also, also always part of the limitations that we only test in certain product categories so far. It's tough to say, to be honest. It's like sometimes we have ideas, we have hypotheses, and then it kind of turns out totally different differently in the results. So
that's the beauty of research.
That's the beauty of that's the tough thing about research. So
Absolutely.
it's also, if you consider maybe like a luxury brands which has entry category products. For example, I don't know, Louis Vuitton has wallets for 200, 300, 400 euros that basically everyone can afford. Like, you know, the middle class has risen over the years. Basically, if you go out there, I'm pretty sure also in Morocco, everywhere, could buy a wallet, whatever, for 200 euros, or like at least once a year, whatever. But like spending 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 euros for a jacket, that might be different. So there might also be like different results regarding the exclusivity. Okay, like we can discuss, is like a wallet for 200 or 300 euros exclusive or isn't it? But regarding that price range as well, it might, like, implementing XR or AR in the first instance might be suitable for those entry category products, whereas a jacket for 6,000, 7,000, it might dilute the exclusivity way more.
Absolutely. Yeah. So there is a lot of variables that we should take in consideration, which make research very hard. I mean, bravo for all the good work to put in to give us those kind of insights. I mean, I
was recently, yeah, sorry,
yes.
Didn't want to interrupt you.
Yeah, go ahead, yes.
I was recently at a conference in Monaco, and about the closeness part, that AR might get people, or like people who are distant to luxury brands so far, closer to the luxury brands. And we kind of found that out. I just showed you the results. But then another researcher was asking me, hey, why do you actually want to get people closer who are not into our bubble, who are not even interested in our bubble? And that's
Yes.
also like that's a thing. Yeah, you don't consider it first, but then you're asking yourself, yeah, that might be right. But still, luxury brands are different though, and they have to focus on different variables. You call it variables, and also about the revenue on the one hand. So I guess there are pros and cons to get people who are not attached to luxury brands closer to them. But like, the more you talk about it, the more ideas you get about it, and that's the cool thing about it.
That's true. So I agree with your colleague, but this person that you met at the conference. But at the same time, what's surprising, it's one of those people who spend the most on luxury brands sometimes are not those who can afford it, especially in emerging markets.
Especially
So
where?
getting user can make it, I mean, more profitable. I have a question here from Samia. She's asking, what other industries that can benefit from XR besides jewelry, based on your insight?
I guess it's not related to luxury brands anymore, right? So it might also be if you consider in like the construction sector, for example, or like having different manuals. Imagine a technician going to a site and he needs to fix something on a machine, on a device, and then you can literally like put something up with AR which explains how you gotta do. So I guess, yeah, various industries, not, and that's why I had that kind of slide. So conventional brands, luxury brands, and there's a lot of research on gaming, education, as you know yourself, Sina, XR.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Thank you
there
very much.
might be a different use cases for XR, which I'm certainly not fully into, because my main topic is brands or luxury brands, and your main topic is education.
No branding, but for a different need.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you very much, David. Do you have any question? Any more question? So I think it's all. So thank you, David, for giving us your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Samia, Sam, Nawal, Fatima, Hanan, Amin. Thank you, all the attendees. And if you have any more questions, feel free to get in touch with David. He's going to be more than happy to answer your question. And again, thank you for your time, David. Hope to find out more about your new research.
So do I.
Thank you. Take
All right.
care. Bye. Bye.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.